Well, hey, I'm Travis Steiner, lead designer on SOCOM 4. Today I'm going to walk you through some video footage taken from our recent Gamescom demo we demonstrated last week in Germany. This is actually the first mission in the SOCOM 4 campaign. Here you see our main character, known as the Operations Commander. And those are two of the teammates you'll have in the campaign, Wells and Schweitzer.
But sir, there's no activity of any kind in that area.
On the left there we see 45. She's a member of the South Korean Special Forces unit who joins your fire team in a later mission. Here she's having an argument with Gorman. He is the intelligence officer who's overseeing all operations in the area. We really wanted to put a lot more focus on cinematic storytelling in this SOCOM. I think we've been able to pull off a great deal of fidelity while still keeping all of the cinemas real-time in-engine. The team here at Zipper and Sony have worked really hard on this, and I think it's really paying off.
Yes.
Dismissed.
Now, as you can see, 45 has a little bit of trouble with authority. She's a bit of a wild card.
Make sure you stab him with it.
Ops Commander, on the other hand, is strictly down to business. He's focused on the mission and doing whatever it takes to get the job done.
Scheduled to arrive for another 3 hours. I'll be honest with you, I'm not happy to see you here. Pray to God we don't need you. Were you briefed on the plane?
Over 16 vessels have been hijacked within the last 10 months, including several vessels under contract to Clawhammer Security for protection.
So on the SOCOM blog, someone once asked if the game will have any tie-ins to previous SOCOM titles. Some of you may remember Clawhammer from SOCOM Combined Assault and Fireteam Bravo 2. So they'll be making an appearance again in this SOCOM title.
We're here to prevent that.
Isn't that what Clawhammer's being paid to do?
These private security firms can't get their shit together. They're pulling out before they lose any more money in the region. I've assembled a team for you outside. You've worked with Schweitzer and Wells before. How do you want to play this?
Now, Gorman's referencing the fact that the OPSCOM has been deployed to this area before. He has some darker moments from his past that he's not particularly proud of. You learn more on that as the campaign unfolds.
It's just a bunch of farmers with guns, if you ask me.
If Naga makes a move, I want to know about it. Immediately.
That's why NATO sent you, I guess. After all, nobody knows these people better than you, right? I'll be running things from this command center. Check back at 0600. Dismissed.
So again, you start the campaign with just 2 teammates, but we expanded 2 more later on. In total, your fire team becomes a 5-man group as opposed to the 4-man teams we had in the previous titles. So we flash forward here a couple hours. Naga has just unleashed attacks throughout the city. The fire team is evacuating this embassy.
Just like fucking Saigon,
That's the last of them. Copy that. Foreman.
Right off the bat, we wanted to kick things off with some exciting action. We'll still have missions where you sneak around the jungle and do more covert activities, but really wanted to start SOCOM 4 off with really a bang and just a level of intensity and action that we've never had in a previous mission.
She went up in midair. That wasn't a crash, it was a hit. Damn it.
It's also important for us in this first mission that we can maintain that level of intensity while still supporting a useful training mission. Now, in the previous games, obviously, we had the pop-ups that would stop all gameplay. We wanted to make sure that the training tips in SOCOM 4 appear in a non-obtrusive fashion. It's one of those things where even if the player's already learned everything there is about the game, this first mission is still something compelling that they'd want to come back and replay. So here we have Naga forces storming the embassy grounds. You can throw grenades 2 different ways in SOCOM 4. You can either use a quick throw by just tapping the trigger button, or you can actually hold it down and generate a trajectory arc like we had in the previous titles. I think in most cases the quick throw works really well. You just simply point in a part of the environment and it will go where your reticle is pointing. But then for other situations, like maybe getting it through a window or getting on top of a roof, that's where the grenade arc really comes in handy. So here I'm going to leverage our new quick command, team command system. Right now I just have blue team with me, so I just simply tap D-pad left and it will order my teammates to move up ahead. Again, later on when you get gold team, you'll be able to use D-pad right to command them as well. D-pad down is used for canceling command, and then if there are no active waypoints, you can actually just order them to regroup by hitting D-pad down. So Obviously, as in all SOCOM titles, team commands are essential, they're important, but we wanted to really make sure we streamlined the command system this time around and made it quicker and easier to command your teammates under fire. And again, as we'll teach a minimal amount of team command usage in this mission, just really focus on the basics. But again, as the campaign unfolds, we'll get the player used to doing more complex tactics, such as, designating specific targets to take out or even queuing up an attack on unsuspecting enemies. So there's other NATO units throughout the city. You just saw that some of the Naga forces there were engaging and took out some allied units. Here we're moving to Gorman's position at the command HQ. It's a mobile command trailer, and we're trying to support them as they're under attack.
All teams to me.
Moving to you, sir.
So again, you see there a ship there in the distance. There's also a fleet of naval ships, allied ships offshore, and they're under attack as well.
I can't reach your position. We'll cover from above.
So down below there, you'll see NATO forces defending the mobile HQ, and then down below us, a little further, we're going to see some Naga forces led by an enemy commander initiating an attack and basically wiping them out. So this is where we'll teach the player how to zoom in with their weapon and take out enemies from longer range. And we have a lot of destructible aspects to the SOCOM 4 environment. You'll see here's a lava grenade. Humvee there explodes. So everything from small arms fire all the way up to airstrikes will take out different parts of the environment. So things like cover, vehicles, and key parts of the environment. Really want to make sure when you enter a firefight and you engage the enemy that you don't leave that place the same, looking the same as when you entered it. We really want to show that devastation. So okay, Gorman's trailer just got taken out. Ops commander is now talking to Oracle, who is basically the new HQ in SOCOM 4. She's on board one of those NATO ships offshore that's also under heavy fire. Now the dynamic between the player and HQ is a little different in this game. HQ now is basically there to serve for giving intel, as opposed to actually giving you your mission orders. Since OpsCom is the commander, he's the one calling the shots in the field, he's the one that will be designating what the objectives are and how to proceed through the missions. And Oracle's there just to basically supply information. Something else I want to take a moment to mention is that the nationality of the Ops Commander and the initial teammates in SOCOM 4 will change depending on the region you play the game from. So in Germany, for example, they'll be playing as German Special Forces. In total, we have 12 international forces representative. They'll include American, British, Spanish, German, Italian, Korean, Polish, Russian, Portuguese, Dutch, and French. Okay, so now we have some enemy armor to deal with. We obviously don't have any heavy weapons on us, so we're actually going to call in support from that missile frigate offshore. We're going to laze the target here, and you'll actually see the missile launch from the ship and come and attack the target. Looks like we missed the first one, so got to time it out. Now, obviously, this, as the first mission here, this is a relatively easy one to do. It's really just about timing out where to hit the tank and anticipating where it's going to be moving to. In later missions, when we have these kind of moments, you'll actually be dealing with enemy infantry at the same time, so we really ramp up the difficulty.
Oracle.
All right, now that we've taken that out, the NATO ships are still being harassed by enemy artillery somewhere in the city. They don't know exactly where it is, so our next objective is to go find that enemy artillery and take it out.
I'm on the fire!
I mentioned the destructible objects. This is a great encounter to show that off. We're going to encounter an enemy rocket troop here, and I'm going to order my teammates ahead, basically as decoys here to take the incoming fire. And he's not falling for it. So, again, utilizing your teammates in SOCOM 4 is critical. This first mission will obviously make, a little easier than some of the later ones, but it really is key as the campaign progresses that you leverage your teammates tactically to beat the enemy, because they are much smarter and more effective than anything we've ever had before in a SOCOM game. We have all these realistic squad tactics that we're doing now, so it is essential that you leverage those quick teammate commands. So again, as we move up here to clear out this section of the freeway, I'm going to order my teammates up ahead. You'll see that also, again, as I'm shooting up the cars as well, not just throwing grenades, they're reacting to every shot. So again, a good tactic generally is to order your teammates to clear one side of the area, and then I'm going to proceed down the left-hand side. And you can see just when I leverage my teammates here in a situation like this, just how quickly the three of us are able to take out all those enemy forces. And again, later in the campaign, when we expand the squad to be a 5-man team, and we're encountering, you know, tougher enemies, more enemies later in the game, again, that's going to be really essential.
Here, sir.
So again, as we come up on this next area, I want to stress again just the level of interactivity and immersion that we're trying to pull off in these SOCOM 4 environments. Again, I mentioned trying to portray a level unlike anything we've ever done before, so it's not just from an action standpoint, but just the scale and the setting of the environment. This dense city war zone is something that we're very excited to kick off the campaign with. So down below here we have some enemies that don't yet know we're here. I'm going to leverage my teammates here and try and sneak up on them while I provide high ground support. So again, this area you're going to see the enemies using more squad tactics. They're going to provide suppressing fire. Their commanders are ordering them to do things like bound up from cover to cover. That's basically where one group of enemies will move from one cover object while the other one lays down suppressing fire. And really this encounter plays out uniquely each time. I don't know if you guys have seen other videos of this part of the demo level, but really it changes each time because of our dynamic AI behavior. So in this case, they're kind of staying back a little further away, and just more of a long-range engagement as they're using cover further back. But I've played at other times where they'll use grenades and really move up on us close and really catches you off guard. So you have to be ready, both as the player and you know, as a commander, worrying about what your teammates are doing to counter those enemy tactics. And also, you know, again, since the cover is destructible, you got to be ready if they hit you with heavy weapons to move positions and react to the enemy fire.
I've got contact. Got tangos. Hostile spotted. Enemy advanced.
And again, this environment really supports a great variety of gameplay. We've got enemies up high, enemies low, and it really, this open space allows for really, again, those dynamic squad tactics. We can have them do something unique each time because we really have the space for it in this final combat area. You can see the enemy artillery firing back there. I need to move in a little closer and get in range so I can laze the target for an airstrike. The Allied forces don't know exactly where the artillery is, but once I pinpoint it, we can take it out for good.
Confirmed.
Commander, birds are in the air. Strikes
Okay, now I'm in range. We got enemy reinforcements coming in. We got missile troops in there too, so I gotta look out. They could take out my cover at any second here. Okay, see they just took out the cover, so I'm gonna actually pull back and get in a more defensible position here where I can laze the target.
Incoming!
Okay, and that did the trick. We got Allied planes coming in to take out the target.
Excellent targeting, Commander.
And that's the end of the demo mission. So that's just a sample of the SOCOM 4 single player. In the final version of this level, you'll see some small differences, but in general, this is pretty close to what we'll have at launch. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out the SOCOM blog for the latest info on SOCOM 4.
Work, team.
PlayStation